To call to order the City of Bloomington Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for September the 22nd, 2016. Roll call, please.
Here. Here.
Clapper.
Here.
Throckmorton.
Present.
Great.
Sutherland.
We have minutes to be approved, and they were amended today to reflect the members present at the June 23rd meeting. Any changes or recommendations? I hear a motion?
So move approval of the minutes.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please, or vote, please.
You want a roll call there? Throckmorton.
Yes.
Clapper.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Okay. Any reports, resolutions, or communications?
No, nothing tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we have one petition on the agenda today. That's UVV-25-16, Milestone Ventures.
Thank you. This is a request from Milestone Ventures. They are requesting a use variance in order to allow ground floor residential units in the commercial arterial zoning district, and also a variance from maximum building height. This property, it's about 0.98 acres. It's zoned commercial arterial. The site currently has on it a parking lot that was formerly used with the Habitat for Restore business that was located just to the east of this. The particular site has always had a parking lot on it that has been associated with various uses on this site, but it is a standalone lot by itself. And so the petitioners are coming forward tonight to develop this lot with a new apartment building. And in this apartment building, they are proposing to have 3 ground floor dwelling units. Within the commercial arterial zoning district, you are not allowed to have ground floor commercial or ground floor residential units. So they are requesting a use variance in order to allow for those ground floor units. They are also requesting a variance from the maximum building height in order to allow for the building to exceed the 50-foot height limit. That particular aspect of the variance is due to a stairwell and elevator bulkhead that is located on the top of the building that exceeds the height limit by approximately 3 feet. So the petitioners are coming forward tonight for that variance and the use variance in order to allow for this site to be redeveloped. To the east of this, as I mentioned, is an existing office building that has recently been rehabbed for many warehouses. To the north of this site is another apartment building that was built for a similar use back in 2012, and the Board of Zoning Appeals and the Plan Commission heard a use variance for that petition, which was approved as well. So the petitioners are coming forward to develop this lot with another similar type project that provides housing for people going through kind of transition housing, working towards more sustainable long-term housing. To the west of this, you've got various commercial uses, as well as to the south and the east. And then to the north of this, you get into more multifamily units with Timber Ridge to the north, and then Brandon Court just to the northeast of this as well. So one of the things that staff as well as the Plan Commission looked at previously is this site serves as kind of a transition between the commercial uses that surround it and the multifamily to the north. And so the use of this site, or at least the presence of the ground floor dwelling units, serves to help transition between the commercial uses that surround it and the multifamily to the north. This was heard at the Plan Commission at the meeting in the earlier part of September, and they recommended forwarding this to the Board of Zoning Appeals unanimously with a favorable recommendation. This particular building, as well as the other building that was built to the north of this, would be a certified LEED building. They are hoping to achieve at least the gold standard with this, if not possibly higher. So this would be one of only a handful of buildings in Bloomington that are LEED certified buildings. So that is certainly something that is very noteworthy. So as I mentioned, they are requesting the use variance to allow 3 ground floor dwelling units. The rest of the ground floor on this building would be commercial space or office space, non-residential. So it is only the presence of the 3 ground floor dwelling units that is driving this position. Shown here is the site plan. The building and the parking area would predominantly sit on the portion of the site that was previously used for a parking lot, so there would be very little disturbance outside of the area that's already been developed on this existing property. They would be utilizing a shared driveway on the north side of the property that utilizes the existing access cut on Henderson Street. So there will be no new drive cuts associated with this petition. The residents of this facility typically do not have cars, so the petitioners are providing a few 7 or 8 parking spaces that would be used predominantly for the employees for the building. So the only variance that is being requested is for the building height, and as I mentioned, that is for a portion of it to exceed the height limit by 3 feet. So shown here is the floor plan. You can see the kind of 3 sections of the building of the floor that are kind of colored blue color. Those would be the apartments. The rest of the ground floor would all be office space, meeting rooms, and then other kinds of facilities open to the residents. This is an exterior rendering of the building. The building would be clad in fiber cement board as well as some masonry veneers along some of the corners. You can see the stairwell on the right side of the screen that kind of sticks above the building itself. The building itself, for the most part, is about 45 feet tall, I believe, and so it's just a portion of the stairwell that you see on the right side that extends above that 50-foot height limit by about 3 feet there. So staff did find that this meets the criteria for the development standards variance for the height as well as for the use variance. As I mentioned, the Planning Commission did also recommend forwarding this to you with a positive recommendation for the use variance. And so with that, staff is recommending approval with no additional conditions, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Petitioner's representative? Please state your name.
I'm Jeff Fanyo of Bynum Fanyo Associates.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You have 20 minutes to present your petition.
Great. I really don't have anything to add. The staff has been great to work with and gave us a positive recommendation. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. And we have members from Milestone and Life Design here as well to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you. So back to the board for questions?
Just a quick question for staff. I just want to make sure, I think I'm right in saying this, but I want to make sure. So this site drops off from Henderson, does it not, in terms of topography?
The site as a whole does drop off as you get to the backside, the west side of the property.
Yes. Yeah, I understand. This site isn't lower than necessarily the adjacent site, but from Henderson, this site sits down.
Yes, a little bit. It does, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Access to the project is not from a public way. Is that a private street?
Yeah, the driveway that comes in this is a private drive off of Henderson, and it serves the other 4 properties that are located adjacent to this, so they all share that one common access point.
Okay.
And their staff has not identified any issues with that access point, either visibility-wise or traffic-wise.
Okay. Okay. So, anyone in the public would like to comment on this petition at this time? See none. Petitioner, any final words? Okay, then we're back to the board. I just have one comment, and that is the staff finding for the use variance. I want to offer that another reason or peculiarity of this property is that it doesn't have frontage on a public way.
Correct, absolutely.
You got that one? Are you going to add that? Okay, okay. So, do you want to go ahead and make a motion then?
I will move for approval of UV/V-25-16, use variance and maximum building height variance, based on the findings and conclusions in the staff report, but with the additional finding that there is a peculiar condition that the site is both lower in elevation than the surrounding road network and is entirely surrounded by other buildings and trees and is accessed from a private drive rather than a public drive. That is, I'm adding that as a peculiar condition.
Any further comments?
Good reuse of a property that's currently not being used well. And we have another building there that adds to it, so I think it's a very good reuse of the area.
Carmen, roll call, please.
Baker,
Yes.
Clapper,
Yes.
Throckmorton,
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Okay, motion is passed and petition is granted. We are adjourned.